Now, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, Speaker of Parliament Karu Jayasuriya as well as several other political leaders are currently engaging in a tour to India. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is also due to travel to India on the 19th.
Mahinda Rajapaksa was welcomed in India by BJP strongman Dr. Subramaniyam Swami. This was the tweet posted by Dr. Subramaniyam Swami. Quote, "Today, the former president of Sri Lanka and probably the next president is arriving in New Delhi at the invitation of Virat Hindustan Sangam. He will address a public meeting, admission by invitation, on 12th on Indo-Sri Lanka relations, the way forward." Unquote. Who is Subramaniyam Swami to make such a statement about Mahinda Rajapaksa? He is now an executive committee member of the ruling BJP and according to political pundits, he is the cat's paw of the Narendra Modi rule and he is also a chief conspirator of the party. According to this article published on the Hindu website in the year 2017, it was Dr. Subramaniyam Swami who lodged a complaint against Jayalalitha Jayaram and her assistant Sashikala over charges of corruption. It was he who made complaints against the controversial 2G spectrum case in India as well. Dr. Subramaniyam Swami had also taken legal action against the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, M. Karunanidhi, and several of his family members. As a result of these incidents, South Indian politics as well as the national politics in India were affected. It is in this context that Dr. Subramaniyam Swami refers to former President Mahinda Rajapaksa as probably the next president. Is this the official stance of the Indian government? Or is Dr. Subramaniyam Swami interfering with our country's sovereignty? After the 2015 presidential election, the South China Morning Herald had reported a story under the headline, "Indian Spies' Role Alleged in Former Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa's Election Defeat." This same story was carried on Indian newspapers as well. After making claims that India and its Research Analysis Wing or RAW was behind the former president's election defeat, what is the deal that he is going to make with India now, 3 years later? In addition to the former president, several other senior politicians are currently in India. Speaker Karu Jayasuriya, who is among these senior politicians, called on the Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj, Indian President Ram Nath Kovind, and Speaker of the Indian Parliament Sumitra Mahajan, TNA parliamentarian and opposition leader R. Sambandhan, Ministers Nimal Siripala de Silva, Gayantha Karunatilaka, Mano Ganeshan and Rauf Hakim are among the politicians in India, along with Douglas Devananda and JVP MP Vijitha Herath.
While the senior Sri Lankan parliamentary delegation is India, the Indian Oil Corporation is selling petrol at a higher rate than the CPC. After the fuel price hike last night, the IOC is selling a litre of 92-octane fuel 1 rupee more than the CPC price. IOC is selling a litre of Euro 4 petrol 3 rupees more than the CPC price. When the IOC is incurring losses, they add the cost to that loss and sell at a higher rate. Their losses get reduced through this, but the loss of the CPC increases. We are selling more at a cheaper price that causes losses. Their ulterior motive is to cripple the CPC. That should not be allowed. If there's a pricing formula, they should sell at the rate the government tells them to sell. They cannot work the way they want. What has happened is that a decision was reached in the year 2006 to allow the IOC to sell at a rate that they want to. Before that, there was a pricing formula. They had to sell at the rate the government asked them to sell at. If there was a loss, the government would compensate that loss. Who is this pricing formula for? The CPC is unaware that the Ministry of Petroleum Resource Development is unaware that the Finance Ministry puts forward this pricing formula. This price is not decided for the country. It is for the CPC because the IOC sells at a price higher than the CPC. They only hold on to a rupee or two because that goes unnoticed. When inquired from an official at the Indian Oil Corporation, it was stated that the fuel pricing formula is irrelevant to them. They said that the price is decided based on the details that they obtained from the media. If India has been given the authority to operate in this manner in the fuel market through weak agreements, what will happen if the energy sector, and especially the renewable energy sector, is placed in the hands of India in the future? Will they continue the precedent that they have set and control this sector as well? India is already geared to enter into the energy sector by constructing large-scale power plants as well as LNG terminals. While Sri Lanka is moving into the jaws of India, Nepal is moving away from it. Nepal gets access to 4 China ports, ending Indian monopoly on transit. Should the country stand silently and watch while another country interferes with our country's economy and political sovereignty?